Hey guys, so this is going to be my second book review, and this time the book is The Lady of the Camellias by Alaxandre Dumas, who was a son of Alexandre Dumas himself. So this is the cover of the book. It's by Penguin, so of course it has a very beautiful cover. It's a pretty small book, it's only 206 pages. I finished reading it recently and it goes straight to the top of my favorite books. I absolutely loved it, like mwah. This book is incredible. Like, I was enjoying every single page. This book is a love story, but it's not one of those cheesy Twilight love stories. And I also wouldn't say it's a young adult book. It's definitely more of an adult book. I don't even know where to begin because I never rehearse or practice my book reviews. I just sit down and talk about the book. I find it really difficult to talk about a book without giving away spoilers. So if you are interested in reading this book and you don't want to hear any spoilers, maybe exit the video. If you guys know the movie Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman, which is one of my favorite movies, or Verdi's opera La Traviata, they are based on this book. So I guess I should start off by reading the back of the book. I'm not gonna read everything, but I'm gonna read some of it. The Lady of the Camellias itself was inspired by the real-life 19th century courtesan Marie Duplessis, the lover of the novel's author Alexandre Dumas feels, so it pretty much is an autobiography of Dumas. Known to all as the Lady of the Camellias because she is never seen without her favorite flowers, Marguerite Gautier is the most beautiful, brazen and expensive courtesan in all of Paris, but despite having many lovers, she has never really loved until she meets Armand Duval, young, handsome, and hopelessly in love with her. So that's the general picture you're gonna have about the book. Now I'm gonna get into the story a little bit. So yes, the main characters are Marguerite Gautier and Armand Duval. I found it really interesting how the story is not written chronologically, so it starts from the past and then it tells the story of Marguerite Gautier. Actually, this is not what she looked like. I googled her portrait. I don't know, to me personally, she is not that beautiful in the portrait, but in the book, she's like this goddess. She's just like the most beautiful woman in Paris. Marguerite is a courtesan, or to put it simply, a prostitute. And she is the most expensive courtesan in Paris. She dresses in very expensive clothes and adorns herself with very expensive jewels. It was very shameful to be courtesan, but a lot of women still secretly admired her and wanted to be her. And every man in Paris wanted to be her lover, but she was very expensive. She's a lover to many very, very rich men because she spends, I think, 100,000 francs per year. She loves going to the theater. She's often seen there with the red camellias because they're her favorite flowers. That's why she's also referred to as the Lady of the Camellias. So early in the story, we learn about this guy called Armand Duval, and we see how he meets Marguerite Gautier. He was probably the only guy who was intimidated by her beauty because he fell in love with her. And a lot of men loved her, but Armand was the only guy who truly, deeply fell in love with her and who actually cared about her, because even though a lot of men loved her, they didn't care about her. A lot of men only wanted to have pleasure with her and to be seen accompanied by her, but they didn't really care about her as a person. I think in the book she was my age, 23, or even younger than that, so she was a very young courtesan and she had a troubled life. She didn't have a family, she didn't have anyone to love her or to care for her, so that's why she became a courtesan. And the story starts to get extremely interesting once she meets Armand Duval. After their encounter, everything changes, not only in him, but also in her, which is strange because, I mean, she's a courtesan, she's met tons and tons of men. There's something special and different about Armand that kind of changes her. And I don't really want to get into details because then I would spoil too much of the plot. As I said, it's not one of those cheesy love stories because it's not overly romantic, but it's like, it's troubled but beautiful, and it's very dramatic, I would say. Jealousy, betrayal, love, lies, envy, So it's a very dramatic book, but it's so good. And it kind of teaches you about those times in Paris, about the life of courtesans. I didn't have much clue what their lives actually look like, and it's really, really sad. Really saddening to learn about such beautiful women leading such lonely, sad, miserable and shallow lives when they could be so much happier. And maybe Margarita will get happier in the book, maybe not, maybe she will be miserable till the end of the book. That's for you guys to find out. Also, something that was very surprising and interesting for me was reading about Bois de Boulogne. It's more of a forest than a park, and I remember my boyfriend and I passed through there, the street of Bois de Boulogne, as we were driving to Champs-Élysées, and I saw all the prostitutes there, like literally they're standing on the street, tons and tons of them, and I was really shocked to see that in daylight. I was really saddened by the view I saw there, some of them just laying on the grass waiting for customers. What I'm trying to say is that seeing this place in reality and then reading in the book that Margarita Gautier was working there, it just made the image so vivid in my head. The book was mesmerizing, and it wasn't about prostitution. Well, part of it, because Margarita was a prostitute. It was a very tragic but beautiful love story, and it has to be one of my favorite love stories. And I completely agree with Henry James, who said it's one of the greatest love stories of the world. It truly is, and I highly, highly recommend this book. I'm gonna put a link down below to where you can get this book. Now I'm gonna start reading The Rosie Project, which is a bestseller, at least on Book Depository. It's a number 6 on the bestseller list, and I have it in Lithuanian. It's my aunt's book, so it's by Graham Simswan. I have no clue how to pronounce his name, but yeah, I'm excited to read it. It's also only 200 pages, 250 pages, and I don't know much about this book at all, only that it is about a guy who creates an image of a perfect woman and he tries to find her. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be reading now. And once I'm done, I'll do a book review. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!